Here's a clip from the Southwestern Lead app.
Fear is a word most of us never really consider until we examine why we don't accomplish what we intended to in life or perform as well as we should. Fear is the emotion that prevents us from taking risks, it makes us hesitate to try new things, and causes us to rationalize why we cannot do something. Fear is the emotion that causes each of us to procrastinate even when we know what we should be doing. It allows us to make excuses when we're simply just afraid to fail, succeed, or to do whatever it takes to get what we want out of life. Fear is a faceless enemy that each of us must encounter if we aspire to do anything worthwhile. This is why it's relevant for anyone who desires to accomplish great things in life to first examine exactly what fear is, and secondly, to figure out how best to conquer it. Fear is a perception. It's a perception created by our imagination about how something will turn out if we decide to take on a task, action, or simply make a decision. Some fears can be actually helpful and are based realistically on accurate perceptions. If a person fears they will be injured or die if they fall off a tall building, that fear is based realistically on the laws of physics. This kind of fear is helpful to keep us safe and generally does not restrict us from achieving our true potential. Fears are greatest when the task is outside of our comfort zone, meaning we've never done anything like it before. For example, if you're deciding whether to travel alone in a foreign country but had never traveled alone before, there would be some anxiety accompanying that decision. Your mind would create perceptions based not on fact, but on what ifs. What if I hate it? What if I get mugged? What if I get sick? Usually the what ifs never happen, but we spend so much time dwelling on them. Fear is not logical. It's not based on facts. Therefore, one of the best ways to define fear is an acronym: false evidence appearing real. How do we overcome these false perceptions or fears? One of the best ways is embodied in just 3 words: action cures fear. Think about it. How many times have you been afraid to do something or merely hesitate, then you acted and faced your fears? Chances are good that the fears that you had were a lot worse than the actual act of doing what it was that you were first fearful of. Was it the first time you learned to ride a bike, try it out for a team, or just countless times you were afraid to approach and talk to someone who intimidated you? Each of us have the tendency to become complacent, and complacency hinders courage. Complacency breeds cowardice, the opposite of courage. However, we have each had fears and faced them, and it always feels great afterwards, doesn't it? Consequently, the greater the fear we have, the greater the reward that we will receive when we face it. Action cures fear. So if you ever have a time when you have to make a decision that makes you fearful, remember 2 things. 1, most fears are based on emotions and imagination, not logic or facts. And 2, usually the greater the fear, the greater the possible reward. There's only one way to overcome fear, and that way is by action. Once we act, we overcome our fears. And when we overcome fears, then and only then can we accomplish great things.
Southwestern Lead is an international leadership program that helps you build skills, gain confidence, and discover new opportunities. With professional coaching, a world-class digital learning platform, and certifications that will enhance your resume or application, Lead sets you apart. We'll show you how to turn success principles into success habits through small group training, one-on-one coaching, and guided action plans to help you apply what you're learning. It takes more than academics to reach your goals. See what one of America's oldest leadership training programs can do for you. Visit southwesternlead.com.